The city evening was soft and cool, with a light wind that pushed the last leaves across the sidewalk. Office lights still glowed in the tall building behind him as Armand walked toward the car. He had stayed late for a meeting about a new project, and his mind was humming with notes and numbers. He checked his watch and felt a small pinch of worry. He needed to pick up his son from his music class. The teacher always stayed a few minutes after, but he did not like to cut it close. He liked to be there when the class ended. It was one of the steady things he did as a father, no matter how busy he was. The driver opened the back door and Armand slid in. "The conservatory, please," he said. The car pulled away from the curb, and the sounds of the evening, distant horns, a bus sighing at a stop, a bell from a bike, rose and fell like a slow tide. Armand loosened his tie and took a deep breath. He thought of his son's small, proud smile when he played the last note of a piece. That smile always made the day feel right again. They were passing a small park near the corner when the light turned red. The car slowed. Armand rested his hand on the window button and pressed it down a little. Cool air came in, along with the smell of damp grass and coffee from the cafe across the street. He let his eyes wander as people do when waiting for a light. A jogger stretched near a bench. A couple talked in low voices near the gate. A delivery worker balanced bags as he hurried by. Then he saw her. She was alone at a weathered picnic table under a small tree. The tree had lost most of its leaves, and a few dry ones tapped the tabletop. The girl sat in a wheelchair beside the bench, not quite pulled up to it, as if the ground was uneven. On the table was a paper plate with a single cupcake. The cupcake was not fresh. The frosting had a small crack on top from the cold air. A short candle stood in the center. The candle looked like it had been used before. Wax had built up on one side, like a little frozen tear. The girl touched the table with careful fingers, as if making the space clean and special. She took out a small lighter, cupped her hand around the wick, and lit the candle. The little flame stood still for a moment, bright and brave. She smiled at it. She did not sing out loud, but her lips moved, and her eyes looked soft. After a few seconds, she clapped quietly, once, twice, almost like a whisper. She leaned in and blew. The flame went out, and a small line of smoke rose and disappeared. Armand felt something move in his chest. It was not a big, dramatic feeling. It was small and simple, like a thread pulled gently. He thought of his son's last birthday, the way the room felt warm with family and friends. He thought of his own childhood, when his mother saved half of a cupcake for the next day so the sweetness could last a little longer. He looked again at the girl's wheelchair. The footrests were scuffed. One wheel had a strip of tape on the rim. A faded backpack sat hooked on the back handles, the fabric thinned at the corners. On the ground near her chair was a folded blanket, rolled tightly with a cord. The light turned green. The car moved forward. Armand kept looking back until the trees blocked his view. He sat up straight and said, "Could we circle the block, please?" The driver glanced in the mirror, surprised, but calm. "Of course, sir." He checked his lane and made the next turn, then another, looping them around. Armand checked the time again. He did a quick count in his head. If they stopped for only a few minutes, he might still arrive just after the class ended. He took out his phone and sent a message to the teacher, running a few minutes late. "Thank you for waiting with Danny." He put the phone down and rested his hands on his knees. When the park came into view again, Armand pressed the window down fully. The evening had deepened by a shade, and the cafe lights made warm squares on the sidewalk. The girl was still at the table. The candle lay on its side on the plate now. She was looking at a little card in her hand. It looked like a small photo or a bus schedule. Her face was calm, but there was a set to her mouth that Armand recognized. It was the look of someone who is steady when alone, someone who does not. Ask because asking is hard. Would you stop here? Armand said gently. The driver pulled over by the curb. He turned in his seat. Do you want me to come with you? Armand shook his head. Please wait here. No photos, no calls, just wait. His voice was kind but clear. The driver nodded. Armand stepped out. The air touched his face and ears with a cool hand. He closed the door softly and adjusted his scarf. He looked both ways and crossed the street, moving not fast and not slow. He did not want to startle the girl. He did not want to make her feel watched or judged. He tried to walk as someone might walk toward a neighbor with simple respect. He stopped a few feet away, where she could see him. Hello, he said. Good evening. She looked up. Her eyes were careful, not afraid, but alert. She took in his coat, his shoes, the space behind him, the car at the curb. She nodded once. Hi. I'm sorry to interrupt, Armand said. I was passing by and saw your candle. It looked like a special moment. I just wanted to say, happy birthday, if that is what it was. He kept his hands at his sides. He did not lean in. He kept his voice level and warm. A small, quick smile came and went on her face, the kind that appears before trust has time to grow. Yeah, she said softly. It's my birthday. Happy birthday, he said again. My name is Armand. He paused. May I sit on the bench for a minute? If you prefer I do not, I will go. It is completely your choice. He let the Mao word settle so she could decide. She looked at the bench, then at him. You can sit, she said. It's okay. He sat on the far end of the bench, angle turned so he faced her without crowding her. For a moment, neither spoke. The wind brushed the leaves on the table. A bus stopped nearby, doors opening with a soft chime, then closed and pulled away. A dog walker passed by with a quiet nod. Do you have a name I can use? He asked after a little time. Only if you're comfortable. Maya, she said. That is a lovely name, he said. Maya, I hope this year brings you many good things. She looked at the cupcake and picked up the candle, running her thumb along the cooled wax. Thank you, she said. Her voice was steady but small. Armand noticed the paper bag beside the plate. It had the logo of a discount bakery, the kind that sells yesterday's bread for less. He noticed the lighter, metal worn smooth. He noticed a folded paper under the plate, a map torn from a free brochure. He let these details be in his mind, but he did not let them climb into his mouth. He knew that people carry many stories. He knew a simple moment could feel heavy if too many. Questions crowded it. I don't want to bother you, he said. I am on my way to pick up my son from his class. But I remembered how much birthdays mean to him. So when I saw your candle, it felt important to say something kind. That is all. She looked at him again, longer this time. Maybe she was measuring his words against his face. Maybe she was watching his eyes to see if they were gentle or sharp. That's nice, she said. Not many people say something. Sometimes people do not know what to say, he answered. Or they are shy. Or they are too busy even if they do not want to be. He smiled a little. I am guilty of that sometimes. Maya gave a small laugh, like a spark. Then her shoulders settled again. It's fine, she said. I just wanted to do it. You know, the candle. I understand. He looked at the cupcake. Would you like a napkin? I think I have one. He checked his coat pocket and found a folded, clean handkerchief. Or this, he added, holding it out with 2 fingers, careful not to push. You can keep it if you want. She considered, then took it and set it beside the plate. Thanks, she said. Her eyes went to his car, then to the cafe. You don't have to stay. I won't stay long, he said. Only 1 more minute. He glanced at the wheels of her chair, then lifted his eyes back to hers. Maya, are you okay out here? Do you have what you need for tonight? His voice stayed gentle. He did not name what he guessed. He did not add more than she could hold. She took a slow breath. Her fingers touched the strap of her backpack. I'm okay, she said at first, as many people do. Then she added, Mostly okay? Armin nodded, accepting the answer as it came. If you would like warm tea, I can bring a cup from the cafe, he said. If not, that is also fine. I do not want to make you uncomfortable. She looked at the cafe door and back at him. He saw the thought pass across her face. The worry about attention, the worry about accepting something that might feel like pity, the worry about being seen. He did not move. He waited, easy and patient, like a friend waiting on a porch. It's okay, she said finally, almost in a whisper, as if she was talking more to herself than to him. I'm fine. Understood, he said. Thank you for telling me. He stood, not quickly, and gave her one more small smile. Happy birthday, Maya. I hope the next hour brings you a small, good surprise. Those are the best kind. He took a step back, then paused. There was a question on his tongue. A simple, one that could open a door without pushing it. Are you sure you're safe tonight? He waited for a heartbeat. He thought of his son, waiting with his violin case at the conservatory, tapping his foot as he watched the door. He thought of the car at the curb. He thought of the candle's quiet flame. He adjusted his scarf and said the gentlest version of the question. Maya, before I go, may I ask one more thing? Are you safe for the night? If the answer is yes, I will be glad. If the answer is no, maybe I can point you to something close by. Armin watched the traffic slide past like a slow river and felt the small thread in his chest tug again. He looked at his phone and typed another message to the music teacher, this time a full sentence. Running 10-15 minutes late. I am very sorry. Thank you for staying with Danny. He hit send and then called the conservatory desk to make sure someone would wait with his son if the teacher needed to leave the room. When the call ended, he sat still for a breath and spoke to the driver. In a calm voice, I'm going to step out again, he said. Please stay here. No photos, no calls. If anything changes with the conservatory, let me know right away. The driver nodded, his eyes soft with concern. Of course, sir. Do you want someone from security to join you? No, Armin said. This is a human moment, not a business moment. He opened the door and crossed the street again, moving with the same steady pace as before. The park looked the same, yet different, the way a scene does when you have chosen to be part of it. The cafe lights painted warm squares on the pavement. A bus rumbled away. The air felt cooler now, as if the evening had pulled a light blanket over the city. Maya noticed him before he reached the table. Her hands were on the wheel rims, and she had turned her chair slightly, as if ready to leave if she needed to. He stopped at a comfortable distance and let his voice carry gently. I'm sorry to come back, he said. I wanted to make sure. You are truly okay. Also, I forgot to wish for something else. May I offer you a warm drink? I can bring it here so you don't have to move. Maya's eyes went to the cafe door and then back to him. People look, she said softly. When someone buys me something, they look. I understand, he said. If you prefer, I can leave it on the bench and step away. Or I can buy it and give the cup to you outside the cafe, where there is less light. Or I can do nothing at all. It is your call. She studied his face for a few seconds. Her mouth pressed into a small line, then softened. Tea, she said. Plain. No sugar. Tea it is, he said, and he gave a small nod as if she had given him careful instructions. He walked to the cafe and stepped inside. The warmth touched his cheeks. Music played at a low volume. Two students sat with laptops near the window. A man read the paper by the wall. The barista looked up with a friendly, tired smile. "2 plain teas, please," Armin said. "1 in a cup with a tight lid." The barista began to fill the cups. As he waited, Armin noticed a narrow step at the entrance. It was small, only a few inches, but it would be a problem for a wheelchair. He looked at the doorway and then at a side door that seemed to lead to a storage area. A small ramp sat folded against the wall nearby, dusty but usable. He made a mental note and then took the teas, thanked the barista, and stepped back outside. He set 1 tea on the bench and held the other out toward Maya, but not too close. "Here," he said, "as promised. I will stand back." Maya reached forward with steady hands and took the cup. "Thank you," she said. She held it near her cheek for a second, letting the warmth soak in, then placed it on the table. "You didn't have to." "I know," he said, "and yet I wanted to. Not to fix anything. Just to add a small good thing to your birthday." At that moment, a couple walking past slowed and lifted their phones. The man angled his camera as if to capture the scene without being obvious. The woman whispered, "I think that's him." Her voice had a little spark in it, the way people speak when they think they have found something to post. Armand raised a hand, palm open, and spoke in an even tone. "Please don't film," he said. "This is a private moment. It is her birthday, not your content." The man looked embarrassed and lowered his phone. The woman took a step back. "We're sorry," she said. "We didn't mean—" "Thank you," Armin said. He gave them a small nod of appreciation, and they moved on. He returned his attention to Maya. "I am sorry you had to deal with that," he said. "It is not fair to be turned into a story without your say." "It happens," she said in a voice that tried to sound casual and almost made it. "All the time." He let a breath out slowly. "Would you be open to telling me if there is anything practical you need tonight?" he asked. "Only if you want to share. I do not want to ask you for your whole life story." Maya looked down at her hands. She turned the cup in a small circle, thinking. When she looked up, her eyes were clear. "The main thing is my chair," she said quietly. "The front wheel shakes when I go over cracks. Sometimes it catches. I try to avoid the broken parts of the sidewalk, but that is hard. Also, I lost my ID. I had it in my bag, and then I didn't. Without it, I can't get on some lists. People say to come back when I have it, but you need an address to get an ID and an ID to get an address." She lifted one shoulder, a small tired shrug that held too much truth for a 16-year-old. "I see," Armin said. "Thank you for telling me. I'm sorry you are dealing with a loop that makes no sense." He paused. "Are you in touch with anyone who helps with documents, or with a clinic, or a shelter that works for your chair?" Maya gave a small laugh with no joke in it. "There's a shelter," she said. "It's crowded. The elevator breaks a lot. The beds are up a step. They try to help, but—" She looked at her feet and then back at him. "I was on a waiting list for a better place. It takes months. I had a date on a paper. The paper got wet. Now I don't know if I lost my place." Armand weighed his next words. He did not want to promise what he could not deliver. He did not want to turn the moment into a show. "I support a group that helps with IDs and safer places," he said carefully. "They are kind and quiet. If I call them, would you be okay if someone met you here or nearby? Not to push you, just to offer options. If you say no, I will not call. If you say yes, I will ask them to come with respect and to listen first." Maya looked past him at the street, as if she could see the shape of the choice there. A car rolled by with music low and steady. The light at the corner turned red, then green. She took a slow breath. Maybe, she said, but not tonight. Too many eyes. I understand, he said. We can plan for morning, or another day you choose. Just then, a city park staff member walked over with a small broom and a dustpan clipped to the handle. He wore a bright vest and a friendly frown. Closing soon, he said, gesturing to the sign that said the park closed at 9. 15 minutes, okay? Thank you, Armand said. We'll be sure to leave. On time. The staff member nodded and walked on, sweeping a small circle of leaves near the gate. The reminder pressed lightly on Armand's mind. Time was moving. He looked at his phone. The music teacher had replied with a thumbs up and a smile. He had. 5 minutes before he would be truly late. He felt 2 clocks ticking inside him now. The one for his son and the one for the stranger who had let him into her evening. He decided to try one small thing he could attempt right now. Maya, he said, for tonight only, if there is a safe, quiet place nearby that you prefer, I can pay for it. No names, no forms, just a roof and a door that locks, with a shower you can reach. If you don't want that, I will respect it. I do not want to make you feel like a project. Maya's eyes widened, then narrowed in caution. Why? She asked. Why would you do that? Because it is your birthday, he said simply. Because you deserve one night without worry. Because I am a dad. When I saw your candle, I thought of my son, and of how every child should feel safe for at least one night. That is the whole reason. She held his gaze for a long moment. He did not fill the space with more words. He let the quiet be a soft place to land. After that moment, she shook her head slowly. I don't know, she said. Hotels ask for ID, and people watch when I go in. They think things. It becomes a whole thing. He nodded. You are right. It can become a whole thing. He thought for a second, then added, there is a small inn 2 blocks away with a ramp and private entry. They sometimes make exceptions when a community group vouches. I support that group. They can call ahead, but again, only if you want this. If not, we can think of another plan for another day. Before she could answer, 2 teenagers ran past, laughing, and one of them nearly clipped her wheel. The chair wobbled, and Maya's hand shot out to steady it. The front caster shook in a quick, tight circle. Armand felt his body lean forward. Without thinking, then stopped himself. He let Maya control her space. She calmed the wheel and looked down at it as if it were a small, stubborn animal. That's what I mean, she said, voice level again. It does that. It's not the end of the world, but it slows me down. Armand nodded. I know a repair shop that works late, he said. They once fixed a chair for a friend's mother after hours. If I call them and they come here, would you let them look at the wheel? No charge, no names. You can tell them to stop at any time. Maya's eyes shifted to the street again, then to the cup, then back to him. People will look, she said, softer now, not as a complaint but as a fact. They might, he said, but we can try to make it small. We can meet them by the side alley and keep this quiet. Or we can do it tomorrow in a place you choose. She held his eyes, and he saw a careful balance working inside her. A need for help on one side, a fierce wish to keep her dignity on the other. He respected that balance. He would not knock it over. A message slid onto his screen. The conservatory. Desk. Danny is safe with his teacher. Please come when you can. Armand breathed out slowly. He could not stretch this moment much longer. He had given himself a small window, and the window would close. Armand stood near the side door of the cafe and watched Maya rest for a minute under the warm light. She held the tea with both hands and let the heat move into her fingers. The small ramp behind her was quiet now, like a bridge that had done its job and was waiting. He took a calm breath and stepped closer, but not too close. I am going to be honest, he said gently. I want to help in a way that feels careful and private. I do not want to turn your life into a show. Would it be okay if I share a simple plan and you tell me what parts you want and what parts you do not want? Maya looked at him over the cup. Her eyes were serious but open. You can say it, she said. Thank you, he said. First, I want your birthday to feel like a birthday, even if it is small. If you agree, I can ask the cafe to bring a tiny slice of cake. No singing unless you want it. Just a quiet moment to mark the day. Second, I support a group that helps with things like ID, safe rooms, and wheelchair repairs. I can call them and ask for options. They will not ask your full story. They will listen first. If you want, they can arrange a safe, accessible room for tonight where you can rest, shower, and lock the door. No posting, no photos, no fuss. If you prefer to stay out tonight, that is your choice. Third, we can set up a repair for your chair. It can be tomorrow morning at a place you choose. They can also bring a small fix if the wheel is loose just to make things safer now. You can say stop at any time. Everything only happens if you say yes. Maya listened without moving much. She looked down at the front caster, then back at him. You promise no photos? No names? No news? I promise, he said. No photos? No names? No news. I will not even tell this story to friends without your permission. If anyone needs a name for a booking, we can use mine or my foundation's. You do not have to show an ID to me or to the cafe. Any helper will follow your lead. She sat with that for a long breath. The street sounds came and went. Tires on wet pavement, a bell from the corner, soft talk from inside the cafe. The manager glanced over and then looked away, giving them space. Armin did not hurry her. He let the choice rest where it belonged, with her. Okay, Maya said finally, and the word felt like a small door opening. But I want to decide, each step. If I say no at any point, it stops. Agreed, he said. You are in charge. He took out his phone. May I call someone now to set things up? They can speak to you first by phone, so you decide if they should come. Maya nodded. They can call me, she said, and then she held up an old phone with a cracked case. It works sometimes. Armin smiled softly. We will try it and see. He stepped a pace away to give her more space and called a number saved under the name Lila, an outreach lead he trusted. He spoke quietly. Lila, it's Armand. I'm with a guest who needs privacy and care. 16, uses a chair, front caster unsteady, no ID on hand. We're at Maple Cafe's side door. Could we arrange a clean, accessible room nearby tonight with quiet entry and no extra questions? Also, could we set a document help appointment and a chair repair check for tomorrow? Please keep everything off the internet. First names only. The guest will decide each step. Lila's voice came clear and professional with a kind tone. Yes, I can do that. There's the Elm Inn 2 blocks away. Ground floor room, roll-in shower, side entrance. I'll call them and vouch. Also, I can have a mobile repair tech meet tomorrow morning wherever she prefers. I'll text you details in 2 minutes. Would she like to speak with me first? That would be good, Armin said. He looked to Maya. May Lila call you now? Maya hesitated, then nodded. Okay. Armin read Maya's number to Lila and ended the call. A moment later, Maya's phone buzzed. She looked at the cracked screen, then at Armand. He took a slow step back and lifted his hands a little to show that her choice was safe with her. She answered. Hello, Maya said. Yes. She listened, eyes on the table. I don't want a lot of people. Just one person, if anyone. And no photos. She listened again. I can do side door. Another pause. No ID? Relief softened her mouth. Okay. And if I don't like it, I can leave? She nodded. Okay. She ended the call and looked up. She sounded normal, Maya said, like she was surprised and relieved at the same time. She said they can do a room and pay it with a code. She said I can use the side door with a ramp and I don't have to talk to the desk if I don't want to. She said someone can meet me outside just to give me a key folder and then leave. That sounds right, Armand said. Lila is very good at careful. Maya's phone buzzed again. She checked a message. She sent an address, and a time and a code, she said, and a first name for the person who will meet me. It says, I will stand back. You can take the key by hand or I can place it on a bench. Maya breathed out. I like that she wrote it that way. Armand's phone buzzed too. Lila's text had details. Elmin, room 104, prepaid side entrance doorbell with ramp. Key pickup outside. Repair tech on standby for morning. Document clinic slot held for next week, with flexible time and wheelchair access. He typed back, thank you. Please keep it low profile. Guest prefers control at every step. He slipped his phone away and turned to the cafe door. One more thing, he said. Would you like a small slice of cake? We can ask the cafe to put it in a to-go box. You can eat it here or save it for later. No singing unless you want 2 quiet lines. If this feels silly, we can skip it. Maya thought for a second and then gave a small smile. 2 quiet lines, she said. No phones, no clapping, then I'm done. Done, Armand said. He stepped inside and spoke to the manager. Could we have a tiny slice of cake in a small box? He asked. We'll light the candle for 2 lines, and then we'll pack it up. The manager nodded. On the house, he said, already moving. He cut a modest slice and added a plastic fork. He even placed a fresh candle beside it, short and simple. Armand carried the box to the side table near Maya and set it down. Did not open it yet. He looked at Maya, waiting. Okay, she said softly. Open it. He opened the box and set the candle upright. He lit it, cupping his hand to shield the flame from the little breeze at the door. The light glowed on Maya's face. She did not look around for approval. She did not pose. She just watched the flame for a calm second, as if it were a small sun made just for her. Armand began in a low, steady voice. Happy birthday to you, he sang, almost a hum. The manager, without stepping closer, added a quiet line from behind. The counter. The 2 lines rose and fell like a private ribbon in the air. There was no clapping, no phones, only a soft breath when Maya leaned in and blew the candle out. A thin line of smoke curled and faded. Make a wish, Armand said gently. I already did, she answered, a small smile in her voice. Thank you. He placed the candle in a napkin and closed the box. Here, he said. For later. The fork is inside. Maya tucked the box into her small bag, careful not to press on the wheels. Then she looked at him with steady eyes. I will. Try the room, she said. I like the side door plan. I will go by the alley and wait there. If it feels wrong, I will leave. That is perfect, he said. Would you like me to arrange a ride that fits your chair? No company name on the side. The driver will not talk unless you start. She thought for a moment. Yes, she said, but I want them to stop a little away from the entrance. I can roll the last bit. Done, he said again. He called a trusted, accessible ride service he used for community work. He asked for a plain van with a ramp, no logo wrap, drop-off at the corner behind the inn. He paid by phone and added a note, passenger leads, no assistance unless asked, no talk unless spoken to. He got a text back. Arrival in 12 minutes. Your ride is 12 minutes away, he told her. You have time to finish your tea and then go at your own pace. He paused. Would you like me to walk the first block and then turn back? Or would you prefer to go alone? Maya glanced at the street. I can go alone, she said. You need to get your son. He nodded, grateful for her thoughtfulness. He checked his watch. The driver could go pick up Danny now and bring him home. He sent a short message. Please head to the conservatory, pick up Danny and take him home. I will meet you there. He received a quick reply. On my way. Armin looked back at Maya. "Tomorrow morning, the repair tech can meet you at the inn lobby or outside if you prefer fresh air," he said. "Lila will text to confirm. If you change your mind, you can say no. You can also block my number at any time. Your safety and comfort come first." Maya gave a small nod that meant she had heard, not that she had surrendered control. "Okay," she said. He took out a small, plain card and wrote on it in careful print. Lila, outreach, first name only. Phone, repair, mobile tech, phone. Document help, clinic, time, you are in charge. He slid the card across the table. "This is for you," he said. "If you lose it, Lila will send it again." Maya picked up the card and read the words slowly. The last line made her mouth curve. "You are in charge," she read out loud, like a quiet promise spoken back to herself. "Always," he said. They stood there for a brief, balanced moment. No big speeches, no grand gestures, just two people who had shared a small, true thing and were now letting the night carry them to their next steps. Maya finished the last sip of her tea and adjusted the strap on her bag. She looked at the ramp and then at the alley. Her hands found the wheel rims. The front caster trembled a little and then steadied. "I'm going now," she said. "Thank you." Armand reached home to find Danny on the couch with his violin case at his feet and a sleepy smile on his face. The driver had picked him up from the conservatory and brought him straight home, then brewed a pot of mint tea the way Danny liked after lessons. The apartment felt calm in the way late evenings do. Quiet air, soft lamps, a city hum behind thick windows. Armin bent down, kissed the top of his son's head and said, "Thank you for being patient, champ." "It's okay," Danny said, leaning into the hug. "Did you help someone?" Armin paused. He chose his words with care. "I met someone who needed a calm birthday," he said. "I tried to make it a little easier. A friend is helping now." Danny nodded like that made sense. He opened his case and showed a new piece he had learned. Armin listened, chin in hand, smiling at each steady note. When Danny finished, they did their small bedtime routine, a glass of water, a quick story, a light off and a door left a crack open. Armin checked his phone in the hall. A text from Lila sat on the screen. Guest arrived. Side entrance worked. Room 104 is accessible and quiet. I stayed back and watched her take the key from the envelope. No pressure. She's safe for the night. Armin whispered, "Thank you," into the empty hall and typed the same back. Then he put the phone away and stood for a moment with his hand on the wall, letting the day settle. Across the district, Maya rolled down the side alley toward the small door with the ramp. A woman in a plain coat waited by the wall a few steps away, holding a hotel key folder like it was a library book. The woman's name tag showed only Anna. She smiled without stepping forward. "The key is here," she said softly, placing the folder on the bench and stepping back. "There is a little card with the Wi-Fi code inside. No need to check in. The room has a roll-in shower and a low closet bar. I won't look your way. If you want me to stay until you're inside, I will. If not, I can walk to the corner." Maya lifted the folder, looked at the number, 104, and nodded. "Thank you," she said. Anna smiled again, then drifted like a shadow to the end of the alley. Maya tapped the button for the door, rolled in, and found room 104 with the clear, blue numbers at eye level. Inside, the air smelled clean, like lemon and new sheets. She set her bag on the chair, tested the bed height, opened the bathroom door, and stared for a long time at the shower with the wide threshold and the steady grab bars. She ran the water with the back of her hand and felt a little heat on her skin. She sat on the shower chair and let the warm stream touch her hair and face and shoulders. After, she dried off, put on her clean shirt, and stood still in the center of the room, listening to the quiet. Her heart slowed. The small slice of cake waited in its box on the table. She opened it, took one bite, and closed her eyes. It tasted sweet and soft, like a yes. In his study, Armin received another message from Lila. She's in. I will turn off my phone now and check again in the morning, keeping it light. Repair tech on for 9 a.m. if she still agrees. Document clinic next week. Flexible time. He sent a final thanks, and then his assistant called with a different kind of energy. We got a call from a reporter tonight, the assistant said. Someone said they saw you at Maple Cafe with a girl in a chair. They asked if you want to give a quote about kindness. No, Armand said, voice calm. We do not make a story out of a person's evening. If you need a sentence, say no comment. Better yet, say nothing. Understood, the assistant said, then lowered her voice. Legal also wants to make sure we're covered. They asked if any funds were used. Personal funds, Armand said. No press, no post. Tomorrow we'll talk about a better process so we don't improvise like this every time. Good night. Good night. He sat for a minute at his desk and wrote in a small notebook. Ask, don't assume. Offer, don't announce. Let the person lead. He drew a square around the words, you are in charge, and underlined them twice. Morning found Maya awake early. First light touched the edge of the curtains. She brewed the room's tea and drank it slowly. When her phone buzzed, it was a short text from Lila. Good morning. Repair tech can meet outside at the bench by the side door at 9 a.m. Only if you still want. If not, we can reschedule for another day. Maya looked at the chair's front caster and felt the faint worry in her chest. She typed back, bench is... Okay, please tell them to keep it quiet. Lila replied, of course. At 8:58, Maya rolled to the bench. A young man with a small tool bag stood a few steps away, reading a work order without looking at her. His shirt had a simple patch that said, Jared. He glanced up, smiled once, and then looked at the chair instead of her. Good morning, he said gently. May I come closer to look at the front wheel? I won't touch anything until you say yes. Yes, Maya said. He crouched to eye level with the caster, hands on his knees, and looked with care. I see the wobble, he said. Probably a loose bearing and a worn fork bolt. It's very common. He looked up. I can tighten it now and add a fresh bearing. It takes about 10 minutes. If at any point you want me to stop, I'll stop. Go ahead, Maya said. He set a small mat under the wheel, laid out a few tools, and explained each step as he worked in a calm, low voice, almost like a teacher. I'm loosening the fork bolt now, he said. I'm taking out the old bearing. See that little silver ring? It should be smooth. Yours is worn. He showed her without pushing the view too close. I'm putting in a new one, and I'll add a thin washer to reduce friction, then I'll tighten to the right torque. That means tight enough to hold but not tight enough to jam. Maya watched with a focused face and felt something like peace building in her chest. The steps had order. The problem had names. The fix had a shape. When Jared finished, he spun the caster gently. It moved in a clean circle. He rocked the chair, a little, checking for play, and then looked up. Would you like to try it on the sidewalk? He asked. You can roll over that crack there. If it wobbles, we can adjust again. She rolled forward, crossed the crack, and felt the difference. The wheel held steady. She turned in a circle, then rolled back and forth faster than before. The motion was smooth, quiet, controlled. She looked up, and the relief in her face did the talking for her. I'll leave you a small card, Jared said, setting it on the bench. If anything feels off later, text me, and I'll come back. No charge. My job is to make this simple. Thank you, Maya said, moving. The chair a little more just to feel the steadiness again. She liked the way the ground felt under the wheels now, less like a fight, more like a road. Back at home, Armin dropped Danny at school, then went straight to his office. He called his core team into the small conference room, the one without. A view. the one where focus came easier. The table had a clean pad of paper and a bowl of pens in the center. "I want to talk about a new line of support," he said. "Very small, very fast, very respectful. We will call it the Dignity Line. The goal is to act as a good neighbor would, but with formal care. One-night accessible rooms, quick wheelchair fixes, help with documents. The person leads at every step. No photos, no names unless they choose. We will not collect stories. We will collect outcomes. A safe night, a repaired wheel, a new ID." His operations lead, Mira, lifted her pen. "We can do that," she said. "But we need guardrails. We need a consent checklist. We need a way to pay vendors without creating a trail that could reveal someone's private situation." "Agreed," Armin said. "We'll build a short list of partners we trust, a few inns with side entrances and roll-in showers, a mobile repair team, and a document clinic with flexible hours. We'll set up prepaid codes and simple vouchers. No branded vans, no press. If someone tries to turn a moment into a post, we ask them to stop." Legal spoke next, a careful voice. "We need to be mindful of risk," he said. "We don't want anyone to feel pressured. We also have to protect staff." "Then we make the language simple," Armin said. "No pressure, ever. The person can say no at any time. We can even print small cards with the rules in friendly words. 'You are in charge. Put that line at the top.'" Mira smiled. "That's a good line." They spent an hour drawing a short flow. First contact from outreach, offer options. Person chooses, partner is called, service is provided, a check-in text is sent, and then everything ends unless the person asks for more. They designed a 2-page guide for staff with 4 questions and a bright, bold box, consent at every step. They added a second box, privacy is the default. They agreed on a budget cap per person for emergency help, plus a separate fund for ramps, lifts, and staff training at community spaces. After the meeting, Armand called the cafe manager to say thank you for the ramp the night before. The manager sounded softer today. "We actually cleaned the ramp this morning," he said. "We put a small sign by the door that says, 'Ramp. Available. Please ask.' I told the team to expect it. We can do better." "You already are," Armin said. "Send me the cost for a backup ramp and a folding threshold plate. We'll cover it." He then spoke to a local accessibility consultant named Priya. "I want to help shelters and small businesses make practical changes," he said. "Nothing fancy. Just safe, simple things. Door handles, ramps, lower counters, wide paths, clear signs." Priya's voice warmed. "We can start with a 3-week sweep," she said. "I'll bring a checklist and a carpenter who knows how to solve problems with a piece of wood and a good eye. We'll prioritize showers and entries. And, we'll teach staff to offer." Morning light came through thin clouds like a soft sheet, and the city woke up in gentle steps. Maya sat at the little desk in room 104 and checked the time twice. Lila had texted a reminder about the document clinic. "No rush. We will go at your pace. If you want, I can meet you outside and walk 1 block behind you." Maya typed back a simple, "Okay." She slipped the small card Armin had written into the back of her phone case again and rolled to the door. At the sidewalk, Lila stood by a lamp post with a canvas bag and a kind, ordinary smile. She did not wave her arms. She did not hurry close. She matched Maya's pace like a quiet echo. The clinic was in a modest building with a wide door, clear signs, and a waiting area that didn't smell like bleach. The receptionist looked up and said, "Good morning," the way people say it to a neighbor. They gave Maya a clipboard with 4 short lines to fill. Lila stood away and faced the wall while Maya wrote. When Maya finished, the receptionist glanced at the paper and said, "We can start with a temporary ID, then we'll help you order a new one. It will take a little time, but you'll leave with a paper today." They took a photo in a small booth. The camera flashed once. Maya did not pose. She just looked into the lens with a calm face and let the moment happen. The staff member checked the picture, smiled, and printed the temporary document. The paper was warm from the machine. Maya held it with both hands and felt a new kind of quiet inside her chest, the kind that comes when a door opens on a wall you thought would never move. Back outside, Lila did not cheer or make a speech. She only said, "Well done," in a voice like warm tea. Next step is a housing check-in. With this paper, your place in line is easier to confirm. Maya nodded. Okay. But can we stop by the library first? Lila nodded back. Of course. Across town, Armin finished a call with his operations lead, Mira. The Dignity Line pilot had begun without fanfare. 3 safe nights were all ready. Logged, 2 chair repairs done, and 1 set of documents in motion. Each action had the same shape. Ask first, follow the person's lead, keep it quiet, leave when the job is done. A short note from legal sat on his desk. Consent language approved, vendor vouchers ready, prepaid codes funded. It felt good to see careful structure grow around a simple human idea. He texted a thank you to the cafe manager. I saw the new sign. It looks good. The manager replied with a photo of a small, clear note by the door. Ramp available. Please ask. We are happy to help. The ramp itself was clean, and a new folding plate sat by the threshold like a promise. Armin smiled and put his phone face down. He did not need to post the sign online. The point was for people to see it with their own eyes when they needed it, not for the world to clap. At the library, Maya used the copier to make 2 safe copies of her temporary ID and placed 1 in her bag and 1 in the back pocket of her chair. The librarian showed her where to keep documents dry. A simple zip bag helps, she said, handing 1 over. Maya slipped the paper inside and sealed it with care. Small things, done right, build a new kind of strength. She could feel it. The housing office sat on a low floor with wide halls. A woman named Karina met Maya with a folder in her hand and a soft voice. We have your name, she said. You stayed in line. This paper makes it easier. We can place you on a priority list for an accessible studio at a nonprofit building 3 bus stops away. It is not right away. Maybe weeks, maybe a little longer. But we have a path now. Is it a ramp? Maya asked, half smiling, half serious. Actually, yes, Karina said, smiling back. A ground floor unit with a roll-in shower, a lower peephole, and a courtyard. No steps. I can wait for that, Maya said. I want to choose something I can use without asking for help all the time. Good, Karina said. We will call or text you with updates. If your phone stops working, the library can receive a message for you. She wrote the plan down in clear words, then said, You are in charge. Lila's eyes lifted at the phrase, and Maya laughed a little. The line had started to travel. Days made a steady, ordinary string. Maya used the small inn for a short stretch, and the women's day center for a safe place during daylight. She kept her chair clean and checked the front caster each morning the way Jared had taught her. She rolled to the bookstore cafe most afternoons and read in the corner. The owner, whose name was Farah, liked the way Maya set her things with care and did not take too much space. One slow day, Farah handed Maya a brush pen and asked, Would you write a sign for me? My handwriting is not steady. Maya printed 3 simple signs. Please ring for the ramp. Hot water for your tea is free. And we keep this table clear for wheels. She added small arrows and a neat border. Farah taped them up and stood back. Perfect, she said. You make it look easy. Maya felt a small bright spark in her chest. Thank you, she said. On a Thursday, Lila texted with news. A studio is open, 2 blocks from a bus line. Want to see it tomorrow? Maya read the words twice. She looked down at her hands and then at the small handkerchief Armin had given her, now washed and folded in her bag. Yes, she typed, but if it doesn't feel right, I will say no. Lila replied, Good, I will hold the space of no with you. The next day, they met a building manager named Luis at a low brick entrance. He opened the door and then stepped back, the way a respectful person should. The unit had light, clean walls, a small window that caught morning sun, and a bathroom with rails placed where hands would naturally reach. Maya tested the path from door to bed, to kitchen sink, to bathroom and back. She spun a full circle in the bathroom and smiled when nothing bumped her elbows. She checked the closet bar and reached it without strain. She rolled to the window and watched a sparrow hop on the edge of the courtyard planter. It feels right, she said. Her voice was calm. No drama, only relief. Then we can sign a simple license, Luis said. No long-term contract. Pay. Monthly. If anything breaks, we fix it. The courtyard is quiet. The laundry room door is light. Maya read the paper and took her time. She pointed at a line and asked a question. Luis answered clearly. She placed her new signature where it belonged. Lila did not guide her hand. She only waited and held the quiet. When it was done, Luis handed Maya 2 keys on a simple ring. Welcome home, he said, with no extra words added. That night, Maya slept in a bed that would be hers tomorrow and the next day, and the one after that. She leaned the small folded handkerchief on the bedside table like a tiny flag of a country that had no borders, only care. The next morning, she rolled to a corner plant shop and bought a hardy small plant with thick leaves and a name tag that said ZZ. It's hard to kill, the shopkeeper said with a laugh. Even I can't hurt it. Maya smiled and set the plant on the windowsill. It looked like hope that knew how to survive. Arman learned the news as a single sentence from Lila. She chose a studio that fits her. He replied with a simple heart and the words, no public notes. Lila answered, of course. He did not ask for the address. He did not need it. The point was not to collect. The point was to let a life move forward under its own power. Business life kept moving too. The dignity line played out in quiet circles across the city. One night, a city bus driver used a voucher to get an elder into an accessible room during a heat wave. Another day, a mother got a stroller-friendly ramp installed at a clinic door that had been a problem for years. A corner store replaced one, high counter with a low shelf, so someone in a chair could place a wallet without a stretch. None of these things made a headline. They made a difference. That was enough. A few people still tried to pull Arman into the spotlight. A friend sent a message. You should talk about dignity line at the gala. People need to see your heart. Arman replied with kindness. People need ramps and documents more than they need my face. If we must talk, let the vendors speak. Better yet, let the signs on doors do the talking. The friend sent a thumbs up and did not push again. At school, Danny practiced for the spring concert. On the night of the performance, the auditorium filled with families. Arman sat in the second row and watched his son tune his violin with careful hands. Just before the music started, a woman in a chair rolled into the aisle with a program on her lap. A student stepped up to move a chair so she could have a clear space, then checked with a simple question. Is this okay here? The woman nodded. Arman felt the small thread in his chest again, not pulling this time, but tying things together, noticing, asking, moving one chair, making space. The music began. It was not perfect, which made it better. Each note was a person trying. Danny's eyes were steady on the conductor. The sound rose, met the roof, and came back down in a soft wave that touched every face in the room. Arman thought, not for the first time, that kindness has a sound, and it is very close to music made by people who are paying attention to one another. On a quiet Sunday, Maya invited 2 people to see her new place, Lila and Farah from the bookstore. Cafe. She said, no gifts, only tea. Farah arrived with a small jar of honey and a sheet of blank paper. Housewarming, she said, lifting the paper. for your first list." Maya laughed and wrote at the top, "Things that are mine now." She listed 5 small items: plant, cup, spoon, curtain, blue handkerchief, and then set down the pen and made tea. They sat together and talked about ordinary things. A book with a slow beginning, a bus route that was sometimes late, a recipe for